The Justice League of America. This is the team that Batman built so that the entire world can trust a team that isn't full of metahumans. Ignore the fact that it has a bunch of metahumans in it, including Lobo. Like, his reasoning behind making this makes no sense when that's the team, but whatever. It's an alternative Justice League team. It's basically like Justice League International, Justice League of America. It's the alternative team, and this is the adventures that they go on. Now, this is a fun little 2-issue storyline involving the Monster Man. I hope you enjoy. Just over 100 miles east of Tunguska rests a small island that is not known to many. On this island, Skull drones are in pursuit of the only living human on this island. As the man and the giant bird-like armadonts run, one of the armadonts stops and begins to squawk. The man stops with the birds as soon they all begin to attack the drones, and just then there's a sound, and Vixen tells everyone that here's something she thought she'd never say. Justice League? Protect the Monster Man. While everyone gets to work taking down the drones, Lobo crushes 2 of the drones, asking, "What exactly are we doing here?" Batman tells him, "Skull, our tech broker's hoarding progress. They were nearly disbanded, but now they have a new backer, and they're here to get in the way of things." Vixen uses Ram to charge into one of the drones, asking, "What about this place, though? This island's not on any map." And Batman says, "That's because it's hidden by a magnetic cloud cover. The Batplane pulled up some strange readings during a flyover, and I've been monitoring it ever since. Right now, Skull's incursion triggered the trouble alert. So here we are." While the fight goes on, the Monster Man begins to shout, trying to form words, and the only sounds that he can make are Frost then says that it doesn't look like he speaks any English, and as the Monster Man fights off a group of drones, he shouts, "You nonsense boy!" And then there's another sound, and the armadonts begin to squawk loudly. As the fight continues, everyone begins to look around, stating that this place is amazing. However, Dinah tells everyone to just shut up for a bit and look at him. The way he's holding that thing, he knows it. They all saved this man, but everyone he knows is dead. A few days later, back at Vixen's apartment, Angela Chen of Impossible But True tells the cameras that it's great for Vixen to allow them to film here for their special interview tonight. So please welcome Maxon, the man from Monster Valley. Maxon tells them, "No, let me be the one to thank you. It's been a wild week for me, and I would also like to thank the JLA. They've brought me home and helped me reestablish my identity. It's been nearly 30 years since I last saw a human." Angela says that that's incredible. So what happened there? And Maxon explains that it all happened when he was 3 years old. His parents' plane crashed and they died. He would have died too, but someone found him. An Amerdont. A monster, some would say. But whether it was out of pity or not, she raised him to be strong enough to run with her pack. He lived with them for 30 years, learning their language and also learning English from the emergency manuals of the downed plane. Skull wanted to weaponize Monster Valley, and their attack would lead the JLA to him. Skull also claimed the lives of his entire pack and his mother. But as he returned, the Census Bureau has helped him learn of his human name, Brenton Hamilton, chief beneficiary of the Hamilton Court fortune. Maxon goes on to state that this world is an amazing place. 2 weeks ago, I was forging a gorilla whale carcass, and now I'm a man with millions at my disposal. And right now, I have 684 living relatives that I've invited to my welcoming gala tomorrow. I'm ready to make up for lost time. Meanwhile, over at Sanctuary, the base of the Justice League of America, everyone watches the interview and Dinah comments that they barely know the guy, and they're already giving him a place to stay. Vixen tells him that everyone deserves a chance, and Ryan says that he's been through so much already. Skull trying to steal his pack and train them as soldiers, destroying his home. Dinah asks, has he? Trained monster soldiers seems like a bit of a stretch. If Skull wanted to train monster soldiers, why would they attack them? Ray then says, come on, not everyone has a secret. He was crushed after what happened back there. Can't you just give him a chance to be happy for him? But Batman's voice tells them, what if it's not real for him? Canary's right. His story doesn't add up. I noticed it the second that we returned. Something was off about him. He's an extremely good liar. His tells are not like anyone that I've seen on this planet, but he can't hide his micro-expressions. He's lying, and we need to find out about what. Ray gets up shouting, I thought we were all about second chances here. That's kind of our mission statement for this team. Even without really answering Ray, Batman tells Dinah and Lobo, come with me. We're going to investigate. As for the others, think about where you're thinking about our missions, with your head or your heart. Lobo says, you know what, Bats? You're a bigger bastard than I even hoped for. A little while later at the observation deck, Ray scoffs, stating that he guesses trust is just a buzzword to get everyone to work together. Can you believe him? I looked up to Batman my whole life, but in person he's a completely different person. Nothing more than a hypocrite. Vixen tells Ray that she understands that he's angry. She's known Batman for a long time. Just because he sees what has to be done doesn't make it easy. He's not just here to help them, they're here to help him. Frost says that she's not wrong, but wait, where's Ryan? Down in the workshop, Lobo tells Batman to move aside. He's got way more experience with robot heads. Batman tells him that when he needs a head punched in, he'll call him. But right now, he just doesn't like being lied to. Dinah says neither does she. The others might not see it, but he didn't have to walk away from them. He can disagree without cutting people off. Just as Batman begins to answer her, Ryan jumps out from the council stating that he knows that he was told not to come, but he's here to help. Even if he does believe Maxon, Batman tells him, "It's good to see someone that can think rationally. You're just in time. The CPU is sending outgoing signals to Skull. They know where we're going to, and that's where we're headed. As for me, I'm gonna go see how well Maxon's really adjusting to things." The next day at Maxon's party, he tells everyone that he would like to thank them all for coming, even though they barely know him. First, he would like to start off by stating that as the Hamilton Court's chief beneficiary, he controls its investing. Today, he would like to talk about their future. Starting now, Hamilton Court's legacy will be one of hope. The new Hamilton Court Heritage Group will be activists. They'll also help find relatives and the connections that they never knew existed. Meanwhile, Batman leads Lobo and Dinah to Infinity Island, where Skull has a facility stationed. At the same time, over in Manhattan, Ryan breaks into Maxon's apartment to see if there's anything that he can uncover. And the first thing that he finds is a chunk of flesh on the ground. Moments later, Batman activated the terminal to scan for who was backing Skull and why they were at Monster Island. He begins to read out loud, stating that Skull's backers were actually searching for Maxon for decades. It turns out Skull's backers are the Hamilton Court, Maxon's own family. They were searching for him to protect him. This was a hit. Back in Manhattan, Ryan radios in stating that he's at one of Maxon's penthouses and he's not normal. He knows why Maxon was lying. He has a plan. He didn't want to reconnect with his family. He wants revenge. Over in Gateway City, Ray, Vixen, and Frost all head to the press conference when Batman radios in explaining the situation. Hamilton Court wants to protect its holdings from Maxon. They found him and they ended up killing his pack mother. So he wants revenge. Back inside of Maxon's party, he tells everyone that they're all gonna get a part of what comes next. They were all born the same and they grew up with completely different lives. His parents were helpless when their plane crashed. They bled for Hamilton Court, all the wealth and power. However, it didn't save them, and starting today, all of them will get a chance to bleed. All because they couldn't leave him alone and he was shut off from the world, living with what they call monsters. But it was the monsters that abandoned him for their inheritance. It wasn't the monsters who hunted and attacked him in the den. It was the ones who killed his mother. They killed his true mother, his true family. And what he's about to do today is something that no human could understand. Money isn't what he wants their heads. He rips open his shirt, he jumps into the crowd with his claws out. Everyone begins to sprint for the exits, but on the side, Charity Hamilton contacts Skull, telling them that they need Maxon dead now. Seconds later, Vixen breaks down the walls and Ray shouts, asking, "What is this? We trusted you!" Maxon kicks Frost away, asking, "To do what? These humans murdered my real family. What do you expect me to do?" Ray blocks him from one of Maxon's punches, telling him, "We stood up for you. We could have helped you without anyone dying." But as the fight goes on, Charity radios in to hold that last order. The JLA may handle the situation for them. Vixen jumps in to push Maxon away, telling him that they've all lost someone that they loved. But they don't answer for murder with mass murder. Ray tries to wrap Maxon up in light, but as Maxon tears through, he shouts that they are fools then! Once you are bitten, you bite back twice as hard. That's how creatures learn in the wild. Just then, Batman reaches down, telling him, "We are not in the wild." Maxon quickly spins around, headbutting Batman, shouting, "Aren't we?" Maxon then tells everyone to look around. "These people destroyed everything that I had. Why would you side with them? Because they're human? You should all be fighting with me, and if not, you will pay the same price." As Maxon beats into Ray, he turns to Lobo and quickly realizes that Lobo can't be punched. Dinah jumps in with a kick and Ray blasts him in the back and Batman knees him in the jaw. Batman tells Maxon that there's no way that he can beat all of them. Just stay down. Maxon gets back up asking, "Don't you understand? I held my mother in my arms as she died. I just want to do right by her. Why would you rob me of that? What if you had to watch a family member die? Wouldn't you want to hurt those responsible? Kill the ones who killed your entire world? Wouldn't you do the same thing?" Batman kneels down next to Maxon, telling him, "No, I wouldn't." Maxon then shouts, asking, "So what? They're all just gonna get away with what they did?" And back outside, as the police arrive to secure the area, the officer tells Charity that they have leaked information on Hamilton Court's financial records. She's going to be going with them. And inside, Batman tells him, "I didn't say that." A few days later, back in Monster Valley, Maxon looks around wearing his tribal gear. And Vixen asks if he's planning on burying her. He tells her no, it's a human tradition. His mother is gone. Her body is likely eaten. She's given herself so that another may live. Vixen then says that he got off lucky. They stopped him just short of committing a serious crime. Things could have been a lot worse. Maxon then says, "Only by human standards, which no longer interest me. I've transferred my family's belongings to you. Make sure to use them as I said. Help children of tragedy." He turns and leaps off the ledge, telling them that if his family tries to come and rob him of his home and hurt his people, well, when they do, he can promise that they will find him here. Hours later, back at the JLA headquarters of Sanctuary, Batman finishes his experiment on the samples from Penn City and concludes that it was just salt. Vixen tells him that magic doesn't always leave a trace, you know. But before they can go on, Gray says that Maxon is fine, not that he seemed to be concerned. Batman tells him, the wrong thing for the right reasons is still the wrong thing. Maxon's not in jail, but I'm not going to shake his hand. Ray then says, you know what? You inspired me when I was a kid. You sold me on this team by making it about hope, about giving people a chance to be better. I just didn't think that Batman would be the first one to give up on that. He rockets out of the workshop and Batman turns to Vixen telling her, this is why I need you. Vixen says that they don't know what he's been through. The cost of secrets, Bruce. We were both young and angry once. You didn't get to be here alone. Someone must have helped you use your anger without it going too far. Elsewhere though, Nadine Terrell walks through the streets of Philly, or at least what Philly should be. Everything is all shiny like a mirror, and a voice calls out to her. And when she turns back, she sees an image of Ray stating that he never came back. The voice tells her to think carefully on that, on everything, and at this moment, her life depends on that. And there you have it, a fun little 2-issue story. Now, there is some good stuff in the Justice League of America, so I wanted to start bringing it to you, such as discovering what the deal is with Ray Palmer and why he's not around in the DC Universe right now. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about this team and this version of Lobo, and I'll see you next time right here at Comicstorian.